What's going on YouTube? So the Genesis brand has really been going gangbusters in recent years with lots of really hot new products. One of the first big blockbuster hits for them was the GV80. And now for 2025, this product is getting an extensive refresh. We're standing here today with that refreshed model, so let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and see what's new for 2025. So let's start out with the exterior design. Now this GV80 has always been a very attractive looking SUV, and it definitely continues on with the same kind of Genesis design language, but it does have some special touches. So what Genesis has basically done this year is they made some small refinements to this overall look to kind of toughen it up just a little bit and also make it look more refined. So you'll notice with their signature crest grille, we now have this double line element. This matches with the other double line elements you see all around the vehicle and gives us a very upscale look. Down here in your lower fascia, you also have some more revisions to the overall look. You have this kind of skid plate effect down here at the bottom, again, to give you that tougher appearance. Now we also have some big changes to our headlights as well. So as you can see, we've got this brand new multi-crystal headlight design. This continues with that split look, so you've got your daytime running light and turn signal indicator right through there. Now, of course, no design refresh would be complete without 22-inch alloy wheels. Well, not all 22-inch alloy wheels, but you get what I mean. A new design on board for 2025. Really like this look. Again, you've got that double line element, which really just makes this vehicle seem very cohesive when you consider things like your chrome pieces up here, your two turn signal indicators running through there. And then up here at our mirrors, we do, of course, have these fully loaded with all the features, including auto dimming and power folding.
Now here at the side, less changes for 2025. However, we do still have that overall very elegant and beautiful design. Now, as far as the overall length, it's about 194.5 inches long. Now, as we sweep into the rear design, there have been some design updates back here for 2025, but a little bit less so than what you see up in the front. So, of course, we're going to have that signature classy Genesis look, so we have Genesis spelled out across the back. As far as our taillight is concerned, this looks pretty much the same as the pre-refresh model, so it's going to be a beautiful full LED setup with your two lines going through there. GV80 branding. Now down here in the lower fascia, that's where you start to see some really big improvements for 2025. All of this chrome finishings are included this year, and you'll notice that we kind of lost the exposed exhaust outlets, so that's a design difference for the GV80. As far as your tow rating, that is going to remain the same though at 6,000 pounds. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, you are going to get all of them as standard equipment, as you would expect out of a Genesis GV80. That will even include things like Highway Drive Assist 2.0. But that's going to be it for the exterior design. Genesis has done even more on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
But like Mason was saying, there are actually even more important changes on the inside. So let's get into that. Here is the key fob. It has a new design for 2025. We've got that latest and greatest Genesis look. I love this overall shape and texture. Of course, it has Smart Park, it has remote start, all of those goodies, digital key, everything you want, you got it. Just put your hand behind the handle there to unlock the door. Now, taking a look inside the interior. First thing you're going to notice is that we have an absolutely gorgeous and very unique color scheme, but we also have a lot of individual details and technology enhancements, which we'll get into. First of all, though, let's talk about these seats. So this is a top-end model, the Prestige, so we've got beautiful Napa leather seats with a lot of quilting and stitching details running throughout. We've got the color contrast piping, and they're just so soft and supple. It's really, really fantastic. Now, of course, the seats themselves have a ton of adjustments. I do like that even this lower panel is finished in the same color as the actual leather itself. We've got massage, we have power thigh extension, we have all the goodies that you expect. You have memory seats as well as heating and ventilation. But let's go ahead and get inside so that we can talk about the specifics of the materials. So the cabin was already very, very nice, but for 2025, Genesis says they improved the materials. Now this specific example, we have a rather unique material, which I'll go ahead and point out right from the start. We have basalt trim. So basically that is a stone, and they have used that stone to make this very unique pattern. It feels really, really cool, and it's also kind of a fresher take than, say, something like a more traditional wood, but you can still get those if you prefer that. Now, of course, other materials include full leather covered dashboard, full leather covered door trim. We have the brown leather all through here, and even the lower panels are going to be soft touch. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Now we'll go ahead and get into some of the individual features. This is a very luxurious and complex vehicle, so I will remind you, on our limited time frame, we won't be able to talk about everything, but definitely stay tuned for more detailed content coming to the channel when we get this to test out for a full week. But let's get into big technology improvements. So right from the start here, you'll notice you got this big display, right? But this is now one single display, and it's all attached together. So this is 27 inches. It looks absolutely fantastic, like a really high-end iPad or something like that. And having it all just kind of blend together looks very, very premium and upscale. So when you make swipes and stuff like that, it all just kind of fades into your gauge cluster. Now this side of the screen is going to be, approximately half of that overall display. You can fully customize that to whatever you like. It's got brand new graphics and everything this year. We also have a head-up display which has a ton of information inside of it. You have your blind spot cameras, which is a Genesis signature element. And then this is big news, guys. We have a brand new steering wheel. A lot of people used to complain about that two-spoke steering wheel. So they've scrapped that and gone to this totally new design. It's a two-tone with a leather-covered airbag cover. We have the new Genesis logo right there. And overall, just a beautiful steering wheel. It has power adjustment and heating. As far as storage is concerned, we've got pretty decent amount right through there. You've got a couple cup holders. Underneath of this is where you're going to have your wireless phone charging pad and your USB connections. They've also revised the panel here, so we've got our beautiful crystal shifter. Just twist over there to D for drive. You have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. R is for reverse, of course. Here's our 360 camera, and then everyone's fan favorite is, of course, switching to the 3D view so that you can spin all around the vehicle in beautiful resolution. Now just press that P right there for park. You have a new knob system here for 2025, and we also have a new fingerprint reader, which allows for things such as biometric verification of settings and even being able to start the vehicle with your digital key system. Now, coming up to our climate control panel, this is a new arrangement as well. We have a 3-zone climate setup. You have nice physical buttons here to control the main thing, the temperature. The rest of it is going to be touch capacitive, but extremely sensitive. This is a high-end touch panel. We also have a fragrance system inside of it and heated and ventilated seats. Audio controls are right above that. Physical metal volume knob, though, for our new Bang & Olufsen sound system. That's right, we've now moved to a Bang & Olufsen sound system. This has 18 speakers, and the speakers themselves have a very nice design integrated into the door trim. Now, once again, with our big display here, the other half is for the primary infotainment. You'll notice the software looks completely different. That's because it has the latest and greatest features on board. The most important thing, I think, for a lot of you guys is the fact that we finally have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so rejoice about that. Moving above, we have a brand new digital camera rear view mirror. It's still also auto dimming with HomeLink remotes. We have a suede headliner. This is finished in the same color as the seats. And then finally, wrapping up the front of the cabin, you have a dual panel sunroof.
And let's check out the lovely rear seat area of this GV80. So we're sitting at about 39 inches of legroom, about 38 inches of headroom. That places it pretty much right in line with something like a BMW X5. I'm 5'9" for reference, and like Drew mentioned, we are on a time crunch, so I can't get out all of my measuring devices. Stay tuned for a fully in-depth review coming soon. Now, as far as features, we do have vents up here in the center. Really like the feel of this. It feels so premium. Down below, we have our own climate controls for the 3-zone setup. We also have quite a few functions. So this is a touch panel, and we can turn on our heated seats as well as our ventilated rear seats. So you do have ventilated rear seats here on this Prestige 3.5T. So the fully loaded model gets the ventilated rear seats. You also have 2 USB-Cs and a household style outlet. Now, also something that you get here on the Prestige 3.5T is a fully power adjusting second row. So you'll see the buttons for it here on the side. You can slide forward and back. You can also recline these seats fully power quite a good distance. So overall, this is going to be a very comfortable rear seat. I like the power ability. That's an extra bougie touch you don't find on stuff like BMW X5. And then we do also have a mirror so we can kind of stare at our success, or rather our parents' success, if we were sitting in the back seat. As far as the door trim is concerned, nice materials through and through. You will notice that we have power rear sunshade. So if you do the window switch, you'll notice that you have that ability, another really premium touch. And I just love that it's pretty much leather from top to bottom. You have metal speaker grills, more of that trim. It just feels like a special place to spend time. Now, walking up to the tailgate, of course, we have a hands-free power one. You can continue to open it by pushing that button right there or using the hands-free ability. I also do want to point out you can get a third row on the GV80. It's on a very specific trim level, though, so you do have to, specifically choose that one if you want the third row. Now, as far as this area is concerned, we're sitting at about 34 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. As a maximum, we're sitting at about 84 cubic feet, so a ton of room, really, more than you'd expect to find out of a mid-size 2-row. Of course, over here on the left or right side, you have the buttons to power fold the second row fully down, and that's of course because you have the fully power ability. It will actually come back up as well, so that's one of those benefits that you're going to find here with the GV80. But I know you're ready to take this vehicle out for a spin, see what this luxury car experience is all about, so let's go ahead and get to that. Well, guys, as you can see, we're behind the wheel of the 2025 Genesis GV80. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our sound level reading. But first of all, we're going to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration. Very nice.
Alright, so there was some good acceleration, up to about 60 miles per hour with this refreshed GV80. Now, they changed quite a bit of things with the exterior and interior, as you have seen thus far. You're probably wondering, is anything different with the powertrain? The powertrain is going to be carryover, so we still have a 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. This is producing 375 horsepower, so very healthy power figures on board for sure.
Yeah, 391 pound-feet of torque. So this thing is very quick. Nice.
Yeah, it's easy to forget how quick this is because the engine is very, very refined. You can easily, be accelerating very hard and forget, oh, wow, I'm going quite fast.
Yeah, I think that's really one of the things I want to hammer in, is that this 3.5-liter model, it really just, it's a luxury engine through and through. It feels so refined, which is very important in this segment. Has stiff competition. It goes right up against the BMW X5, which has probably my favorite powertrain, one of my favorite powertrains of all time, the B58, that also makes, ironically enough, 375 horsepower. So it's going to pretty much tie that in terms of power figures. And overall, it does have a very nice character to this engine. I do appreciate that part of the GV80. Now, of course, there is also the standard powertrain choice. If you want a more affordable price tag, that's going to have the 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder. That's going to be making 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's worth noting that the powertrains are unchanged for 2025, so Genesis didn't really change much when it came to this area. They focused more on the exterior design. The interior, for sure, got a lot of updates, but the powertrains are going to remain pretty much the same this year, and it's worth noting that a lot of the rivals, including noting Mercedes-Benz and BMW, they are including mild hybrid setups. This does not have a mild hybrid setup, so that's something worth mentioning. And we'll talk about that, how it translates to fuel economy in a little bit.
As Mason was saying, since the powertrains are unchanged, you continue to also have an 8-speed automatic transmission. Nice and smooth operation on this transmission. All-wheel drive is also going to be included as a standard feature, no matter which engine that you choose to have. Now we're going around a few corners. I think I should, certainly just point out that this is very much a luxury-minded product. So this is not going to be particularly like a sporty or athletic crossover, even with the more powerful engine on board. It's really just emphasizing that comfort in your everyday drive. That being said, it's not sloppy or anything like that. The steering is pretty nice. I like that you get an immediate response. It's good and linear in its overall feel, and it's easy to place it on even a narrow road like we're driving on right now.
And now that we're just kind of cruising along on the highway, I do want to discuss ride quality. Now, we've spent pretty extensive time with the GV80, the pre-refreshed model, and this is our first time in the refreshed 2025 version. And I have a few things to just point out when it comes to the ride quality. First of all, I will mention that these seats, although they look absolutely fantastic, I think they're gorgeous seats, they are on the firmer side. So if you like a firm seat, you'll certainly like the GV80 seats, but if you compare it to something like an X5, the X5 is definitely going to have a softer seat. Also, the X5 will have a little bit of a softer suspension setup. The thing worth noting about the GV80 is that it does not have an air suspension, so that's going to be a unique thing that is offered on the X5 and GLE that you will not get here, even in the fully loaded 3.5 Prestige model of the GV80, and that does mean that you have a little bit of a firmer ride quality as well. When you hit a bump, you will feel some intrusion. It's not bad at all, so don't get me wrong when I say that it's a little bit firmer, but it definitely is a little bit worse than the X5.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those are two amazing riding vehicles, the X5 and the GLE. They ride great even without the air suspension. Yeah, this is just going to be on the firmer side of things with the 22-inch alloy wheels. We were wondering if they, have modified this much from the pre-refresh, because we noticed that when we had it on loan. But it feels pretty much the same for 2025 in terms of the ride quality. This is quite fast. Also, you do kind of activate a fake engine sound when you go into the sport mode, so it makes it sound a lot like a V8.
Yeah. Let's go back into the comfort mode, though, because it's time for us to do one of our Car Confections signature elements, which would be our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and get that. (52.5 decibels. Wow, that is very good. Really, this segment of vehicle has some of the quietest cabins that money can buy. 52.5 decibels is one of the best sound level readings that you can get, regardless of how much money you're willing to spend. And it's worth noting we're not even on our home stretch of road in Kentucky. We're in Wisconsin, and I think it's actually a little bit rougher of a road surface. So I'm excited to get this back home to get our official sound level reading. But I can say this cabin is incredibly, incredibly quiet. They do have active noise cancellation going on, so this GV80 is going to have like that library level of quietness. Now, you can find all of our sound level readings at carconfections.com/sound level readings, where we posted all of this vehicle's competition as well as every other car that we review on this channel. However, I will point out that the BMW X5 continues to be the class leader in this regard. It sits at a very impressive sound level reading of around 50 decibels across multiple models that we've tested out, so it's a little bit louder than the X5. And let's go ahead and get into our slam dunk and airball, our favorite and least favorite element about the refreshed GV80. Drew, kick us off with the slam dunk.
Yeah, for the slam dunk, we're going to say the 2024 tech improvements. This is a vehicle that, when we look at your guys' comments, right, people didn't really have much to complain about. It's a really well done vehicle, but the technology was getting out of date, especially the fact that it did not have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in 2024. Wirelessly. People were very upset about that, and now it does have that, as well as just improved technology across the board.
Yeah. On the airball side of things, what we're going to say is actually the fuel economy. So when you get this 3.5-liter twin-turbo model, we're coming in at 19 miles a gallon combined. That is not great fuel economy, especially when you compare it to those German rivals. They're going to be sitting at significant advantages because they have mild hybrid systems on board. So it's going to cost you a lot more at the pump for this GV80, and I wish that Genesis maybe had added a mild hybrid setup for this refresh to get you that better fuel economy and better performance. And let's talk pricing. So for 2025, we do have a little bit of a price increase, as you would expect out of a refresh model, but not by a ton. We started around $58,000 this year, and then of course, if you want the V6, as you saw in this video, that starts around $73,000. If you want the fully loaded model, like what we have in today's video, you're going to be sitting at around $81,000 for this particular tester today. Now, if you're looking to buy a Genesis GV80 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. There's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's where we're going to leave off on this in-depth review of the 2025 Genesis GV80. Of course, as we said multiple times, if you want to learn more about this vehicle, we will hopefully be doing a very in-depth, extensive week-long test of this GV80, so stay tuned to the channel. You can stay tuned by hitting that subscribe button down below and becoming a part of our family. And if you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.